5 Go to Demon's Rocks by Enid Blyton. Mrs. Kirin, with her home help, Joanna, was busy getting the bedrooms ready. Her daughter Georgina, who insisted on being called George, was due home later that day with her cousins Dick, Julian and Anne, who were coming to stay. Suddenly she heard her husband, Quentin, running up the stairs, shouting her name.
Fanny? Fanny? Oh, Fanny, I've had a letter from Professor Hayling. He's coming to stay today for a week instead of next week.
He can't. George is coming home today with her 3 cousins. You will have to telephone him and tell him to delay his visit.
Oh, very well, but he won't like it.
Anne can sleep with George as usual, and the boys can sleep in the guest room. It'll be nice to have the 5 back again, the 4 children and Timmy.
Professor Hayling has left already, and he's bringing his son with him.
His son? Well, really, there just isn't room for them.
You'll have to ring George and tell her they can't all come till next week.
But, Quentin, you know that George's aunt and uncle are shutting up their house today and going on a cruise. The children must come here. I'll come down.
That must be Professor Hayling. I'll let him in. My dear old friend, so glad you could come. Ah, this must be your son. Well, what's your name, young man?
Tinker, and this is my monkey. He's called Mischief.
I see.
Are you in pain, child?
I'm a car. Can't you hear my engine?
Right, well, come on, Hayling. I think we'll retire to my study.
5 children, Timmy the dog, and a monkey. It'll be like a circus.
George and her 3 cousins were already on their way back to Kirin Cottage. They cycled along the lanes with Timmy, George's dog, loping easily beside them. At last they came to the end of their journey. They rode up to the back gate, leapt off their bicycles and put them in the shed.
Mother, we're home. Where are you?
George, what's that? Peeping out of the window.
It's a monkey. No, Timmy, come back. Oh, no, the back door's open. Timmy's gone in.
You leave my monkey alone, you big bully. Take that.
How dare you hit my dog? You take that.
What's all this? Stop barking to me and stop crying, Tinker, and take that monkey away.
I'm not crying. Come here, Mischief. I won't let that dog hurt you. Oh, oh.
You just take your monkey away. Run along.
Oh, poor little mite, it's crying. Timmy, you mustn't bully tiny things.
Timmy never bullies anything, Anne. What do you expect him to do when he comes home and finds a strange boy and a monkey here? Who are you, boy?
I shan't tell you. Come on, Mischief, we'll go. Joanna, who on earth is he?
It's that professor friend of George's father, Dick. He's come today instead of next week. That's his son.
Are they staying here?
Yes, the boy and his father are sharing the guest room.
But that's where Julian and Dick were going to sleep.
We'll manage somehow.
You could sleep up in the loft, Julian. I could put a couple of mattresses up there.
Thanks, Joanna. Where's Aunt Fanny? Does she mind all this?
Well, she's a bit rushed. Ah, here she is. Hello, dears. I thought I heard Timmy barking.
Mother, how could you take people in when you knew we were coming home today?
That's enough, George. Aunt Fanny, we won't be any trouble. We'll keep out of the house as much as we can.
You are kind, Julian.
We'll sleep in the loft and enjoy it. We'll help with the housework, and we'll do any odd jobs too.
What's all this this noise? Can't we have a moment's peace?
Oh, dear. Now, Quentin, you two men go back into the study and shut the door. Timmy isn't used to the monkey yet.
Any more rudeness from Timmy and I'll have him sent away.
Well, if Timmy goes, I go too. Oh, look at that monkey, sitting on top of the grandfather clock. He ought to be sent away, horrible, mischievous thing. Not old Timmy.
Tinker drove everyone mad, rushing around the house pretending to be a car. He gave remarkably good imitations of car engines and car horns, but this did not stop his father and Uncle Quentin being very cross with him. Joanna was quite sharp with him when for the 20th time he drove himself all round her kitchen.
Now look, just keep out of my kitchen. And by the way, don't steal buns out of my tin.
Well, if I can't get petrol, I've got to get something to run on. Look at Mischief. He's helping himself to apples in the larder. But you don't say anything to him.
Oh, who left it open?
Timmy did.
You little liar. Timmy's not a thief like that little monkey of yours.
Don't you like him? He likes you.
He does look rather sad. Here, come and get this biscuit, you rascal. And don't go near Timmy this morning. He's very angry with you.
What did Mischief do to Timmy?
He stole a bone from Timmy's dish. Come on, Mischief, take the biscuit. That's it. Hello, where's he gone?
He's gone to Timmy in the hall. Oh, look, Mischief's given a biscuit to Timmy.
Well, did you ever see anything like that? Just as if Mischief was apologizing to Timmy for stealing his bone.
Timmy's licking Mischief on the nose. He's saying thank you.
Joanna was astonished and pleased. She went upstairs to find George and tell her. George didn't believe her. All the same, she went downstairs with Joanna, curious to see if the two animals were becoming friends, and she saw a very strange sight indeed. Mischief was on Timmy's back, and Timmy was solemnly trotting round the kitchen, giving him a ride.
Go faster! Timmy, go faster!
Oh, stop it, Timmy, you look silly.
Now Timmy's upset. He thinks you're cross with him, and he's gone to lie down.
And the little monkey has settled himself between Timmy's front paws.
Look, Timmy is licking him.
See that, George? Now, don't you scold him now for being big-hearted enough to make friends with a little creature who stole his bone.
I'm not going to scold him. He's the best dog in the world. Aren't you, Timmy, darling?
Hooray!
Be quiet, you little nuisance. You'll have Professor Quentin in here if you honk like that. Can't you be something quiet, like a bicycle?
Yes! The-ling-the-ling,
What is going on? Who's ringing that bell? This is the last straw. First this boy ringing bells all over the place and George encouraging him by laughing. Fanny, send these children away somewhere, do you hear? Send them away, and that's my last word.
Aunt Fanny had appeared during the row, and sighed when she heard her husband shouting. She took Joanna, the 5 children and Timmy into the living room to decide what could be done. The discussion began. George spoke first.
Can't we take tents over to Kirin Island?
The weather forecast is very bad. You can't possibly go and camp in the pouring rain.
Well, if we can't go to Kirin Island, or back home, or stay here, where can we go?
I know where we could go.
Where?
To my lighthouse.
Tinker, this is no time for jokes.
It's not a joke.
But, Tinker dear, you can't possibly own a lighthouse.
Well, I do. You see, my father had some special work to do that couldn't be done on land, so he bought an old empty lighthouse. I went to stay with him. It was great there.
But surely he didn't give it to you?
Yes, he did. He didn't want it any more, and nobody would buy it. I wanted it very badly, so he gave it to me for my last birthday.
A lighthouse of your very own? Where is it?
Along this coast to the west. The old lamp is still there, but it's not used now.
Why not?
Because a big new lighthouse was built further along the coast, in a better position for warning ships. We could take Timmy and Mischief too. There's plenty of room.
Aunt Fanny, may we go?
Well, I don't know. I shall have to discuss it with Uncle Quentin, and with Tinker's father too.
My father will say yes, I'm sure. We left some stores there and some blankets.
I think it sounds like the answer to our problem.
Lots of ships were wrecked on the rocks the lighthouse is built on. Wreckers used to shine a light as if to guide ships along the coast and make them go on the rocks.
The wicked wretches.
There's a wrecker's cave there too, where the wreckers stored the things they stole from the wrecked ships.
Well, dears, I really don't see any reason why you shouldn't go to Tinker's lighthouse, if his father agrees.
Oh, Mother, thank you. I shall take my binoculars and keep a watch for ships.
It will be marvellous.
Aunt Fanny went to the study to see if her husband and Professor Hayling could talk about the children going away to the lighthouse. She could hear voices in the room, but nobody called "Come in" when she knocked at the door. The two scientists were obviously far too busy to bother with anyone. Aunt Fanny went into the kitchen to find Joanna.
Joanna, what do you think about this lighthouse idea? A very good idea. Yes, but do you think they'll be all right alone there, Joanna? Well, Julian and Dick are old enough to look after the others. I feel very mean sending George and the others away immediately they came here, but with two excitable scientists in the house, I don't see that there's anything else to do. That monkey! He's knocked the bowl off the top of the cupboard.
What was that crash? What's happening in here? Is everybody going mad?
Listen, Quentin, nobody's mad at present, but pretty soon we all shall be.
Now what?
Quentin, I've something important to say to you. Tinker says his father gave him a lighthouse and suggests that he and all the others should leave here and go and stay in it.
A lighthouse? Are you mad?
It's quite true. Will you go and ask Professor Hayling if he thinks it's suitable for the children to stay in?
Very well.
What's happening, Mother? We heard a crash and Father shouting again.
Just wait, George. Your father has gone to speak to Professor Hayling about the lighthouse.
Oh, I do hope they agree.
Shh, he's coming back.
Father, listen. We'll all get out of your way as soon as possible, if you'll say we can go to Tinker's lighthouse.
Yes, go to the lighthouse. Go and live in the zoo if you like, but go somewhere.
Oh, thank you. We'll go as soon as we can.
I'm delighted. And so is Professor Hayling.
What a hullabaloo! Well, it's a good thing they'll soon be off. That loft is much too draughty for the boys. Poor Julian can hardly turn his head this morning.
Who cares? We'll soon be off again together, all the 5, and 2 more to keep us company. It will be quite an adventure.
Let's go into the living room and make our plans.
Now, Tinker, tell us a bit more about the lighthouse.
It's very tall, and there's a stairway, a spiral one, going from the bottom up to the top. At the top, there's a little room for the lamp that used to flash to warn ships away.
It sounds smashing. I wonder if Timmy will be able to climb the spiral stairway.
Well, he can live down at the bottom if it's too difficult for him to climb up.
If Timmy has to live at the bottom, I shall live there with him.
Why not wait and see the lighthouse first, before you arrange sleeping places, George?
Yes, you're right.
Now, first we must find out exactly where it is.
I've got a rough map in my pocket. Look.
It's a bit small and scruffy.
We've got a big map of the coast in that drawer.
Let's see. It wouldn't be far by sea, but by road it's a very long way.
Better go by car, though. We've got a lot of luggage to take. Not only clothes, but crockery and things like that. And food.
Dad left some stores there when we went away.
They'll probably have gone bad.
Well, don't take too much. It's a pretty rough way over the rocks to the lighthouse, and we shall have to carry everything ourselves. We can always get fresh food from the village. It's not far away.
Can we always walk out to the lighthouse over the rocks?
No, there are some days when you can't even leave the lighthouse. The waves splash house high over the rocks when there's a strong wind. We'd have to get across by boat, if the tide's in. The rocks are covered then.
This sounds too exciting for words. When shall we go?
Why not tomorrow morning? We'll see about a car and someone to drive.
They all went down to the garage in the village, and arranged for a taxi to pick them up at Kirin Cottage the next morning after breakfast. Next they went to the village shop and stocked up with food and drinks for themselves, and dog biscuits and fruit for Timmy and Mischief. They took the food round to the garage and put it in the car, ready to take away the next day. It was very exciting that evening to talk about the next day, but the children got rather a shock when Aunt Fanny said she was half inclined not to let them go after all. The weather forecast was bad, and she was worried about them sitting half frozen in a deserted lighthouse. The children protested indignantly.
But we've ordered the taxi.
And heaps of food. And Joanna has packed all sorts of tins for us and baked a special cake.
Mother, how could you think of saying no when you've already said yes?
All right, dears. I won't stop you going. But do send me a card or two, will you?
There's a post office in the village. We'll send a card every day so you'll know we're all right.
Very well. But if a card doesn't come, I'll be very worried. Now, you won't forget your anoraks, will you? And your rubber boots and...
Mother, I feel as if you're going to mention umbrellas next.
You can think of us playing Snap with our packs of cards and having a fine time in the lighthouse while storms rage round and howl like demons.
Very well. Now, I think you'd all better go to bed early tonight. You've still got some packing to do tomorrow.
Good idea. We'll be down for breakfast at 8 o'clock sharp.
Next morning, George woke first. She sat up, afraid the weather forecast might be right, and that it would be pouring with rain. No, it was wrong for once. The sun shone down, and there was no wind. They were all down very punctually to breakfast, and afterwards there was great excitement as they collected all their things together. At 9:30, the car came up to the front gate of Kirin Cottage. The children, with Timmy and Mischief, all piled in, and the driver put their luggage in the boot. They were on their way. They stopped for an early lunch and ate their sandwiches sitting on a cliff. When they had finished, they started off again.
We'll be there in another hour or so. Where are you staying at Demon's Rocks?
At the lighthouse. Do you know it?
Yes, but people don't stay there.
We are. It's my lighthouse.
Well, you've certainly got a place with a fine view. I was born at Demon's Rocks, and my old great-granddad is still in the same cottage where I was born. My word, the stories he used to tell me of that old lighthouse, and how the wreckers got in there one night, grabbed the keeper, and doused the light, so that a great ship might go on the rocks.
How horrible! And did it get wrecked?
Yes, smashed to bits. Then they waited for the tide to wash up the wreckage. You ought to look up my old great-granddad and get him to tell you his tales. He might show you even the wrecker's cave.
Oh, we've heard about that. Is it really true? Is there someone in there still?
No. All the old wreckers are gone long ago. As soon as the new lighthouse was built, the wrecker's day was done.
What's your great-granddad's name?
Jeremiah Boogle. You'll find him sitting somewhere on the quay, smoking a long pipe. He likes children, so don't be afraid of his scowl.
Why's the place called Demon's Rocks?
Well, the rocks are so wicked that it was reckoned that they could only have been put there by some savage demon.
When shall we see the lighthouse?
As soon as we get to the top of this hill. And tell that monkey to take his paw out of my pocket.
Behave yourself, Mischief.
Look! Is that the lighthouse?
Aye, that's it. Fine one, isn't it? Built of stone.
See that boat? It's called Bobabout.
Is it yours?
Yes, it was sold with the lighthouse.
Here we are. I'll give you a hand with your stuff. Down to the boat.
Thanks very much.
When their luggage was on board, the 5 children jumped into the boat, which was certainly acting up to its name of Bobabout. There were 2 pairs of oars. Julian took one pair and Dick took the other. Tinker cast off the rope that had been mooring the boat, and the two boys started to pull on the oars.
The rocks are covered with water. My word, just look down and see what horrible rocks they are.
They are the rocks we can walk over when the tide's out.
We're getting near. Which is the best way to the steps, Tinker?
See that big rock standing out of the water?
Yes.
Make for that. There's a calm bit beyond it, and you can row up to the steps quite safely.
Right.
There's a stone post at the steps. Can you throw the rope over it, George?
Like that?
Well done, George.
I'll unlock the door. Welcome to my lighthouse.
Isn't it dark? Good thing we brought torches.
The spiral staircase goes right to the top, to the lamp room. It passes through a few rooms on the way. I'll show you. This is one of the storerooms. See, there are the tins of food my father and I left here. The next room up is the oil room.
What's the oil room?
It's where the tins of paraffin oil were kept to light the lighthouse light. No electricity in those days. This is the room where my father and I slept. There are our mattresses.
It's a nice room, with little windows too.
This is the room where we had our meals. There's my old frying pan, and a kettle, and a saucepan. There are some tin cups and plates. I used to just wipe them clean with a cloth. Water's precious in a lighthouse, you know.
Where's the water tank? We'll have to have some water.
There's a catch tank on the west side of the lighthouse. It catches rainwater and runs through a pipe into a tank over the sink.
And what's the next room in this marvellous lighthouse?
There's only one more, and that's the lamp room. It used to be the most important room in the place, but now it's never used. Come on up and see.
They climbed up the spiral stairway to the lamp room, which had big windows all round it. The view was magnificent. The children could see for miles and miles over the heaving dark blue sea. They went all round the lamp room, looking in every direction.
Look, there's a door here. Does it open onto the gallery?
Yes, the outside gallery goes completely round the lamp room. You should see it sometimes when the weather is rough. The gulls perch on that gallery by the dozen.
This is the most exciting place I've ever stayed in.
I hoped you'd like it. Oh gosh, we haven't taken the things out of the boat. Come on, let's bring them indoors and have a meal.
This door is so heavy and strong. I suppose it has to be like this because of the sea dashing against it in a storm.
The boat's still safely here.
Come on, Julian. You and I will take the heavy things. The girls and Tinker can manage the rest.
Look at Mischief. He's carrying those little packets inside.
All right, Timmy. You can help too. Here, take this basket.
We'll leave the boat where it is. If the sea gets rough, we'll have to pull it halfway up the steps.
That's everything in now. Let's shut the door.
I'm really hungry now. What sort of meal shall we have? I feel as if I want something more than a tea time meal.
Let's have a tea sup meal. Shall we? A mixture of tea and supper.
Let's have 2 boiled eggs each for a start.
I'll put some water on to boil.
Right. I'll give them exactly 3.5 minutes each.
I'll cut the bread and butter.
What about some of Joanna's famous mince pies too?
What shall we have to drink? Ginger beer?
Everyone voted for ginger beer. It was a very cheery meal the 5 had in the old lighthouse with Mischief and Tinker. After they had cleared up, they unpacked and put their things into the different places. The girls' things in the living room, where they would sleep, and the boys' things in the bedroom. Everything else went into the storeroom. They settled down to play cards, and when it began to get dark, Tinker went and fetched an old-fashioned oil lamp.
It's still got some oil in it. I'll light it, then we can see properly.
I wonder who first thought of a lighthouse.
One of the first great lighthouses was built ages ago on an island called Pharos at the mouth of the Nile.
What was their lamp like?
It's said that an enormous fire was built on the top each night, whose flames could be seen 100 miles away.
It must have been a pretty high lighthouse.
It was supposed to have been about 180 metres high.
I'd like to go and see it one day, if it's still there.
It's gone long since. It was built over 2,200 years ago and destroyed by an earthquake. It was one of the 7 wonders of the world.
I wish we could light the lamp in this lighthouse.
It's sure to be out of order after all these years.
I don't see why it should be. The lamp has never been interfered with.
Oh, sorry. That yawn came too suddenly for me to stop.
Well, I feel decidedly yawny too. What about a snack and then bed?
They had their snack, and soon everyone was bedded down comfortably and fast asleep. It was fun to wake up in the morning, have breakfast, and plan what to do that day. The tide was out, so they decided they would walk to the shore and see if they could find the driver's great-granddad.
What was the name of old great-granddad?
Jeremiah Boogle. He smokes a long pipe and scowls at people.
Well, he should be easy to find.
Look, there he is. That's Jeremiah, I'm sure.
Come along, let's go and speak to him.
Well, a monkey. What's his name?
Mischief.
I like monkeys, and they like me.
Are you Mr. Jeremiah Boogle?
That's me. How do you know my name?
Gordon Jackson, the taxi driver, told us he was your great-grandson. We're staying at the old lighthouse, and Gordon said you could tell us a few things about it, and about the wreckers in the old days.
Ah, the old days.
Will you tell us, please?
When I was a boy, there wasn't a lighthouse out there. Up on that high cliff there lived a wicked old man. He had a son as bad as himself, and a nephew too. The 3 Wreckers, they was called. And I'll tell you how they came by that name.
Did you know them?
Ah, that I did. There was One-Ear Bill, the old man. Then there was Nosey, the son, and Bart, his nephew. There was only one thing that they was after, and that was money. And they chose a mighty wicked way to get it.
What was that?
Well, now, you see that high cliff away down that coast there? The one with the flag a-waving in the flagpost.
Yes, we see it.
Now, ships mustn't hug the coast beyond that point. If they do, they'll be forced inshore by the current and thrown on Demon Rocks. They flew a flag in the daytime and lit a lamp up there at night. Both said as plain as could be, beware, keep out, danger.
And did the ship stay clear?
Oh, of course. All the sailors knew the flag and the lamp. But that didn't suit old One-Ear. He didn't mind a wreck or two. He'd be down on the beach picking up what he could. And would he save a single soul? Not he.
What a wicked old man.
Aye, you're right, missy. Well, the wrecks didn't come often enough for him and Nosey and Bart, so they put their ugly heads together and thought up a wicked plan.
What was it?
On a stormy night, he put out the lamp on the far cliff, and he and Nosey carried it to that bit of cliff over there. And you know what's below that cliff, don't you?
The Demon's Rocks.
Do you mean they guided the ship straight onto the rocks?
Aye, that's exactly what I mean. And what's more, I met old One-Ear one night carrying the lamp with Nosey. They set bars on me to push me over the cliff so I wouldn't tell on 'em. But I got away, and I did tell on 'em, and they all went to prison. Old One-Ear didn't care, 'cause he was rich.
But how was he rich?
Many of the ships carried treasure, and One Ear stole the gold and silver from the wrecks and hid it away. He hid the stuff away so well, not even Nosy and Bart knew where. And when they came out of prison, they searched everywhere, but they never found it.
Did One Ear get it when he came out?
No, he didn't come out. He died in prison.
What happened to the treasure? Who found it?
No one. It's still there, hidden where that old rascal put it. The three wreckers are dead and gone now, but there's relatives of theirs still living in Demon's Rocks.
What about the wrecker's cave?
Oh, plenty of people have looked in there. I've been there myself, but not a smell of a little gold coin did I see. I'll take you there myself one day, if you like.
We'd love to see the cave.
All right, you come and tell me when you're ready. And if you got any sweets you don't have any use for, well, think of me, see?
What kind do you like?
Well, you tell Tom in the sweet shop it's for Jeremiah Boogle. He'll give you what I like.
Okay, goodbye.
We must take Timmy for a walk. Where shall we go?
Look, there's the sweet shop. Let's get the sweets first.
Good morning.
I'd like some sweets for Jeremiah Boogle. I think you know the kind he likes.
Why do that? These and a few of... oh, yes, these. That'll be 50 pence.
Thanks. He tells a fine story.
Oh, he's been going on about the old wreckers, I suppose. He never forgets a thing, never forgives either. There are two folks in this village he spits at when he passes by them.
What have they done?
Oh, they're some kin of his old enemy, One Ear Bill.
But that was years ago. Surely Jeremiah doesn't vent his anger on his descendants.
Oh, he does. You see, these two fellows he spits at have the job of showing people round Wrecker's Cave. I reckon old Jeremiah is scared in case they find old One Ear's treasure. Find it? It's nearly 70 years since all that happened. No one will come across any treasure now.
But surely they might. It depends where it was hidden.
Oh, that's what One Ear's descendants, Ebenezer and Jacob, say, to make a bit of a thrill for the visitors. Oh, well, good day to you. I'll give Jeremiah the sweets when he comes in.
Thanks. Well, goodbye.
The children went for a walk along the cliff tops, as far as the flagpole that Jeremiah had pointed out. A great red flag was waving vigorously in the breeze. Julian looked around at the clouds which were building up. He thought it looked like rain and suggested they go back to the village. They hurried back and bought some food and postcards, then made their way back across the rocks to the lighthouse. As they climbed the steps, Dick noticed 2 bottles of milk outside the door.
Look, the milkman's bin.
He used to call when my father and I were here.
Get out your key and unlock the door, Tinker.
I can't find it. Oh, I don't remember locking the door when we went out this morning.
Anne was last out. Did you lock the door, Anne?
No, I never thought of it. The key must be on the other side of the door.
In that case, let's give the door a push. Let me see. No, the key's not in the lock. Someone's been here and taken the key. And probably other things as well.
Wait, there's a letter on the doormat. Forwarded from Kieran. That means at least 2 people have been here. But surely neither of them would take the key, or anything else.
Well, we'll soon see.
The children checked their possessions and found that a few things had been taken. George's rug was missing. So was Anne's purse and Julian's little travelling clock. The tide was quite high by now, So Julian rowed ashore and went to report the matter to the police. By the time Julian got back to the lighthouse, the rain was pouring down. He and Dick found a heavy piece of wood and jammed the door shut from the inside. During the afternoon, the children whiled away the time playing cards.
Oh, I want to stretch my legs. I've a good mind to run up and down the stairway half a dozen times.
Go on then, nobody's stopping you.
How far down does the lighthouse go, Tinker? We always go up when we come in and never think about the lighthouse foundations. Are they deep down?
Yes, they are. My father told me they drilled down into the rock a long way and made a kind of shaft. He said that under these rocks there are all sorts of queer holes and tunnels.
Can you go down the shaft?
I don't know. There's an old plan in the lamp room, the one they used when the lighthouse was built.
Like the ones that architects draw when they build a house?
Something like that. I'll go and get it.
I'm looking forward to seeing that plan.
Here it is.
It's beautifully drawn.
Here are the foundations. Goodness, they do go a long way down.
Let's go and have a look.
Good idea. I'll take my torch.
See that round trapdoor? If we open that, we'll be looking down into the foundation shaft.
Give me a hand, Dick.
It's coming.
That's it. Shine your torch.
There's an iron ladder.
The walls are cement and very thick, I should think. Lend me your torch, Dick. I'm going down.
Julian went almost down to the bottom. He didn't go down the last steps of the ladder because he heard a gurgling noise below him. He shone his torch down to see. There was water at the bottom of the shaft, swirling around. Where did it come from? As he watched it, it disappeared, then came back again. There must be a tunnel of some sort down there that the sea can enter, he thought. Julian knew it was high tide now, and he wondered if the tunnel was free of water when the tide went out. He climbed back out and told the others what he had found. They had another look at the old plan, and Julian found the hole at the bottom of the shaft. They were all very excited, and made plans to explore it when the tide was right. As they were talking, they suddenly heard a very loud voice calling out.
Hey! Anyone at home?
Who is it?
It's the police.
Oh, come on up then.
How did you get in? We jammed the door.
I managed to unjam it. You ought to get a new key made.
Have you caught the thief who took our key and the other things?
No, but I've a pretty good idea who it is. I found a lady whose windows looked down on the jetty. She saw a man standing there, and he went over the rocks to the lighthouse.
Who was it?
A man called Jacob. He comes of a family who used to do a bit of wrecking. He's the great-great-great-grandson of a man called One-Ear Bill.
Why can't you arrest him and make him give up the key and the other things?
Well, if you'll come along with me and identify your things, maybe I can do something about it.
I'll come with you now.
All right, let's go.
Yes, Constable. That's the rug and my clock. This is Anne's purse. But the money's missing.
What about the key, Jacob? Give it here.
I didn't take it. What do I want a key for?
For breaking in and stealing. I'll just search you. No key.
Surely he must have it.
Well, we'll have his house searched. But if you take my advice, you'll have the lock changed. I'll take him down to the station now. On his way back to the lighthouse, Julian called at the locksmith, who promised to call in a day or two. When he got back to the lighthouse, the others listened excitedly to his tale. George and Anne were pleased to get their things back, though Anne was sad that her money was gone.
I vote we go and find Jeremiah tomorrow and see if he's heard about the robbery.
and we must get him to show us the Wrecker's Cave. By the way, what were the names of the two men who show visitors round the cave? I'm pretty sure one of them was Jacob.
You're right, it was. And the other man was called Ebenezer.
We'd better go to the caves tomorrow morning, when the tide will be more or less out.
We won't be able to. We can't lock the door.
Timmy's saying, why not leave him behind and let him guard it?
Dear old Timmy. All right, you shall guard the lighthouse, and you shall have a very special bone for a reward.
That's settled then. We leave.
The storm blew itself out that evening, and next day was much calmer. Everyone agreed that they would try to find the hole that dropped into the tunnel. They spread out and went cautiously over the great rocks on which the lighthouse was built. They searched and searched, but could not find any trace of the hole. They went back into the lighthouse, and Julian jammed the door. Anne made some coffee, and as they were drinking it, Timmy suddenly sprang to his feet with a growl.
Timmy, what's up?
What's the matter with Timmy? He's shot downstairs, but there can't be anyone inside. The door's jammed.
Come on, let's go down.
It's all right. The door's still jammed tight shut.
Maybe it's just the milkman delivering milk.
We'll soon see. I'll unjam the door. That's odd, I can't open it.
Let me have a try. The door must have stuck. I can't move it.
I'm afraid that somebody has locked us in.
Locked us in? Who'd do that?
Well, I think we can guess. It was whoever stole our key the other day.
Ebenezer! No, Jacob, one of the two anyway. Why have they done it?
I'm afraid it's because they think we might go looking for the treasure. They might think mischief would lead us to where he found the coin.
What are we going to do? We're in a real fix, Julian.
Yes, you're right. We can't get out of the lighthouse. On the other hand, how can we get help?
No telephone.
Shouting would never be heard.
We can't use our boat.
No one would ever know we're prisoners. If we suddenly don't appear anymore, they'll simply think we've gone home.
We shall die of starvation.
Oh no, Anne, we'll think of something.
We'll try and catch the milkman tomorrow morning. We could write a note and push it under the door.
It would blow away.
We could pin it down our side, and then it wouldn't. Half of it would stick out under the door.
It's worth a try.
There is one idea we might try tomorrow when the tide's out.
What?
Well, do you remember? I went down that foundation shaft and saw water swirling at the bottom.
Yes.
Do you suppose it's possible that the shaft was bored down through a natural hole?
Julian, you've got it. Yes. That cement shaft runs down a natural hole. The one we've been looking for.
What about one of us going down that iron ladder again to the bottom and finding out if it does lead into the tunnel we were in yesterday?
And walking through it and up the passage to the cliff entrance. We could escape that way. What a shock for Ebby and Jacob. We'll do it.
When the children went to bed that night, the storm was raging. The wind blew hard, rain fell in torrents, and great waves pounded over the rocks. In the morning, Julian ran down to see if the milkman had been. But no, the paper was still there. Dick looked out of the window to make sure their boat was still safely moored, but it was no longer there. Either it had been stolen or smashed to pieces in the storm. After breakfast, Julian called them all together.
I'm going down the shaft to look for the tunnel.
What about us both going down, in case one gets into trouble?
Not a bad idea, but we must go down while the tide is out. What about now, Dick?
Yes, let's go.
Give me a hand with the trap door, Dick. That's it.
Got your torch, Julian?
Yes. Well, here goes.
Take care, both of you.
I hope they're all right.
They're nearly all the way down.
We're at the bottom. We're off now to crawl into the tunnel. See you soon.
Cheerio, girls!
I shall be glad when we come to a tunnel we recognise. Hello, what's this? Look, Dick.
A gold coin. And another one. Where did they come from?
Shine your torch up there. There's a dark hole.
Another coin's fallen out. This is where Mischief found his coin.
What a hiding place. There's nothing to be seen except that dark hole.
Give me a leg up so I can put my hand in.
Right.
There's an old iron band and a wooden box rotting away.
Hey, you've showered me with money.
Let me down, Julian. I think there's more than one chest up there. Talk about a treasure trove.
We better gather up these coins in case Ebby comes down this way.
Plain sailing now. We'll soon be out.
Shh! I think I can hear something. Go quietly.
What? Ow! Who's bumped into me?
Where did you find that money? You tell us or you'll be sorry.
Run, Dick, it's our only chance.
You come here.
Hurry! If we can only get to the shaft, we're all right.
Oh no, I don't recognise this cave. We must have taken the wrong turning. Keep still. We'll stay here a while. Let them get a good way off.
We should be okay now.
If we get lost down here, we're done for. Let's try this way. That's Ebby's voice. And Jacob too. They're coming this way. Hide here and keep still.
Those boys have got to come back here. We'll wait. Now, don't make a sound.
We'll have to make a dash for it and hope for the best. We'll be caught by the tide if we're not quick. Come on.
Here! Stop, you two!
Dick, this is our tunnel. Come on. We've got to get to the ladder.
Look, there's the shaft. The water's up to our ankles already. We'll just be able to squeeze under the arch.
Done it. Up the ladder you go, Dick.
Come back! Tide's flowing in! I'm coming! They gone farther down! Reckon they'll be drowned!
Come on, Julian. The girls have left the trap door open.
Dick! Julian! Didn't you get out of the tunnel to find help? What happened?
Plenty. Unfortunately, we didn't get past Ebby and Jacob. They were lying in wait for us. So we're still stuck in this lighthouse. But
what?
We found the treasure. Come on, we'll tell you all about it.
Soon the boys were telling their story. George, Anne and Tinker were enthralled. But they had some news too. Tinker had found his father's old pocket radio. There was another bad storm coming up. How were they going to escape from the lighthouse? The storm came, and Julian was very worried. It really did look as if the bad weather was going on and on.
Cheer up, Julian. You do look grim.
I feel it. I cannot for the life of me think of any way to escape from here, or even get help. We've no way of signalling.
Pity the lighthouse light is no longer going. That would have been a good signal.
Tinker, you're brilliant! Perhaps we can get the old lamp going, to make people realise that we're prisoners in the lighthouse.
Tinker, do you know if it's possible to light the lamp?
I think so. My father showed me how it worked. And there's a bell that can be struck too.
Better and better. Where is the bell?
It was dismantled and put away. It used to hang in the gallery that runs outside the lamp room. There's a big hook for it there.
Well, that means one of us would have to go out there in the wind and hang it up. Anyway, let's get the bell and have a look.
It's in the storeroom. I'll show you. Here it is.
We'll take it up. Gosh, it's heavy. Give me a hand, Dick.
last. Thank goodness.
We'll wait until the wind dies down a bit, and then try and hang the bell. Now, let's look at the lamp. Will it want oil, Tinker?
It may do, but there is plenty down in the storeroom.
Good. Now, if the gale dies down at all, we'll try to hang the bell. We can strike that as soon as it's hung. Let's have our lunch now and see how things go.
In the afternoon, the wind seemed to ease up just a little. They went up to the lamp room and looked at the great old lamp. The wick seemed perfectly good, so they added some more oil, and Julian took a box of matches from his pocket. He touched the oily wick with a lighted match, and hey presto, the lamp was lit.
We've done it!
Now to hang the bell. Let's lift it up ready, Dick. As soon as the wind dies down a bit, you open the door, George.
Stand by. Right, I'm opening the door now.
Heave it onto the hook, Dick.
Done it! Back inside!
Oh, let's have some hot tea.
It will be dark very quickly today. Then we'll see how bright the light shines.
It was dark early, and the light streaming from the top of the lighthouse was brilliant. Through the roar of the sea went a great clanging, as Julian, with Dick holding on to him, struck the old bell hanging in the gallery. Old Jeremiah was sitting by his roaring fire when he heard a sound that made him listen in amazement.
A bell? I've not heard that bell for 40 years. No, it can't be the lighthouse bell. Millie, come here.
What is it, Grandad?
Open the curtains, girl, will you?
There's a big light shining.
I thought as much.
What is it, Grandad? And that booming noise, like a great bell.
That light's from the old lighthouse. And that bell, too, I wouldn't mistake that. What's happening?
I don't know, Grandad. There isn't anyone in the lighthouse now.
There are folk there. 3 boys and 2 girls, and a monkey, too. Oh, and a dog as well.
And what would they be there for? Did they set the lamp going and sound that bell?
It's those children in the lighthouse. Something's wrong. It's help they're needing. There it goes again. Enough to wake all the babies in Demon's Rocks village.
It did wake all the babies, and amazed every man and woman, including Ebenezer and Jacob. They had leapt to their feet when they heard the bell. Ebenezer and Jacob knew quite well what was wrong. The children were locked in the lighthouse and couldn't get out. They might be ill or hurt, and they couldn't get help. Ebby and Jacob disappeared that night. It wasn't Constable Sharp they feared. It was the people of the village. When daylight came, a boat was launched, and Jeremiah, Constable Sharp, and a doctor went across to the lighthouse. They went up the steps and banged on the door.
You'll have to break down the door. Ebby and Jacob locked us in and took the key.
Right. Stand back. Constable Sharp and I are going to break in. Ah! Ah! Ah!
We are glad to see you. Come in. The light and the bell were the only thing we could think of to attract attention.
Oh, they did their job well, son.
We'll be after Ebenezer and Jacob. It seems to me you'd better all go home. This weather's going on for a bit, and there's nothing to keep you here, is there?
Actually, there is something to keep us here. We found the old wrecker's lost treasure. Here are some of the gold coins we found.
Huh?
Old Jeremiah's lost his voice.
There are thousands of these in iron-bound boxes. We can't leave here until we've given the treasure into the hands of the police. It belongs to the Crown, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. but you'll get a fine reward, all of you. Where is this treasure? I'd better get it straight away.
Dick and I will show you. Then we'll go home.
Oh, good. An adventure is always exciting, but I've really had enough at the moment.
Goodbye, Jeremiah. It's been fine meeting you. And thanks for coming to rescue us.
Goodbye, you young scallywags.
The boys went off with Jeremiah and Constable Sharp to find the treasure. The children were all looking forward to getting back to Kirin Cottage and to telling Aunt Fanny, Uncle Quentin and Tinker's father about their exciting adventure. Well, goodbye to you all. Julian and Dick, Anne and George. Goodbye, Tinker, and Mischief too. And goodbye, dear old Timmy. How we wish we had a dog like you. See you all again someday.